Why hello there! This is B.O.X Productions, and welcome to another episode of Path of Exile. In our last episode, we learned that you don't really know people as well as you think you do. And then we spent a good portion of the episode hanging out with our BFF Sin and murdering his family. Our friendship is very normal and not dysfunctional at all. Well, Fantastic Voyage Part 2, I guess. Hey there, Beast. I'm sure you've seen better days. I can only assume from, looking at your innards and all that. I'm noticing a very grayish, decaying color they are now. How unfortunate. I see you still got all these murderous creatures inside you. Well, I guess that's just a given, really. At least you got something, though. Good for you. I don't think we've actually seen one of these in this playthrough yet. Cartographer Strongboxes drop maps, which serve as the end game once you've completed all the acts. Well, since we found this one in an act area instead of in a map area, we only get the first tier of maps, which is unfortunate. Well, it looks like this place still has that awful yellow aura around it. I'm sure it smells wonderful. Oh, that's different. Did we do this?
Something doesn't seem right. Yes, it would appear our old friend Malachi has one final trick to play. A thaumaturgical wound to the hearts of my precious beast. This complicates things, but not perhaps so much that there is nothing we can do. Exile, listen to me. I'm about to release the souls of our unholy trinity from their decanter. Their anger will exude more power than you have experienced ever before. You must defeat them one by one to fuse their remnants into something volatile enough to coax the dark ember from its womb. Ready yourself.
That sounds like a usual Thursday night by this point.
The souls of these three continue to surprise us. Quickly now, the hearts have become doorways. Enter in, complete your mission, though I cannot say exactly what you will find on the other side.
Well, I guess we're about to perform some open heart surgery. Okay, so a little bit of behind the scenes talk here. At the time of the recording of these videos, I wasn't as familiar with this part of the game as I would, usually like to be. You might be able to notice that in the next little while. Usually when I'm messing around or if I go the wrong way or something, I edit it out, for the sake of pacing and everything. But this next area kind of feels like it should be left unedited. I went back and forth in my head about it for a little while. It kinda, I don't know, feels right, to leave it the way it is. Maybe that'll make sense as we go along. But anyway, getting back to the game. Once again, we're going up against the Three Stooges of murder for the umpteenth time. I'm beginning to think that they may or may not have a timeshare within the beast. Seems like a pretty sweet deal. Me again. I kinda wonder if Doidry Darktongue got her name because, you know, she's a witch and she's slinging curses and stuff, or maybe it's just because they have a dark sense of humor. Because, you know, they cut out her tongue and everything. Probably both. These people are weird here. Oh, those blast charges went down quick. Forget about Dre. So yeah, I guess as far as the beast is concerned, we're basically like diseases or something to him. I guess the trio could be considered heart disease or something considering the situation we're in right now. But you know, the heck with it. They're herpes. That's what they are. Like, the beast is hanging out with his bros and stuff, and then they're all like, hey, let's go beast mode out in the club. And he's all like, nah, man. I got the Doedre popping up again, man. I can't do it. Speaking of which, the beast is like the best dude to go clubbing with. You think a bouncer's gonna square up against him? Heck nah, son. Man, stop throwing your blade NATOs at me. They're kinda uncomfortable. Hi there, funny face. Remember that time we tracked you down in a map made out of your own viscera? Yeah, good times. And then dude had the bright idea to go get married to a giant spider. He died.
I cannot do this yet.
Calm down there, Michael Keaton. Well, that's 2 down. See? I can't count. Man, we're cleaning up shop in this place.
The souls of
They finna give us our own trauma center game at this rate. I mean, theoretically. They're not really giving anybody any trauma center games lately, as far as I know. They could be. Does the beast dream of electric golems? I wonder if the beast judges the dream worlds that people create with his power. Like he was watching the dreams that we went through in Act 4, he's all like, oh good, another power fantasy. Yeah, if he does, I don't blame him. That's what I would do. This place is an electrician's worst nightmare. Oh, it's me, baby. I want to put some rubber gloves on your feet. That's certainly my most cultured reference to date. Oh wow, I'm dying. Not today. That was a fight.
At last, our trio joins to become one foul spirit. Destroy that creature of darkness, and let us be rid of this place.
I'm sure what we just created will be completely wholesome and not stomach churning at all. Well, this has got to be the second worst science project I've ever been a part of. And we didn't even use the help of teleporters or Jeff Goldblum. Unless Sin is Jeff Goldblum. I wouldn't doubt it. Would you? Where are you running? For whatever reason, this kind of reminds me of that story about that old lady that swallowed a spider. And she kept swallowing larger and larger creatures. Childhood stories are weird. Not as weird as this. Maybe they are. I think this entire fight is just a dramatic reenactment of what happens when you eat Taco Bell. Yeah, seriously. If you feel your stomach rumbling, it's because your Exile Supreme is having a duel to the death with a 3-layer crunch wrap of murder. Hey, whoa, wait! Well, that's one way to end a battle, I guess.
You're questioning me, the great sea mistress Lily Roth, about how she so happened to find you failing at drowning on some godforsaken fleshy piece of land. Thought it'd be obvious. Grandfather and I, we came to thank you for our little reunion here you started. Caught wind that you were playing around up here with that dead beast from the locals. So we followed your trail, dreading we'd be finding your body bits strewn all over this godforsaken mountain. But lo and behold, what do we get? Our favourite exile twiddling their thumbs. Your lucky old Whalem's still got some thaumaturgical prowess in his bones. How the hell did you end up here anyhow? Well, I suppose you'll be wanting us to ferry you over to Oriath. Take care of that nasty cannibal god Katava once and for all? Well, we'd be glad to oblige. There'll be plenty of treasures in ruined Theopolis just sitting there for the taking, I'm sure. Say the words and we'll set the sails.
I ain't gonna lie to you, friend. You look like actual shite. like a real big steamy pile of goat droppings. What in the bloody hell happened to you since we last crossed compasses? Well, never fear. Your favourite Captain Old Rottooth is here to save the day. I guess I owes you a bit on account of bringing Lily and I back together. Aye, as you can see, I finally found a missing powder in my shot pouch. By that I mean my courage. Managed to make my way over to Lion Eyes Watch to see my granddaughter finally. Tell you, I don't know what in the blazes I was fretting about. She took to me like a fish to water. It was as if no time had passed at all. Anyhow, it'd be lucky for you that I did so, as we were out looking for you to offer our thanks. Followed me compass, listened to the taumaturgical whisperings of my ship, and next we know, we'll be following a trail of blood and guts leading straight to you, wasting your time in the middle of God knows where. Fair winds and calm seas.
Ready to go? Just in time as well. Grandad says there's a good thaumaturgical headwind blowing our way. Well, once more, you owe me for letting you sail around on me ship. But that's okay. I'm the kind of gal who can play the long game. Sometime in the future, I'll be in need of your services once more. You can pay me back then. All right, come on. You got a job to do. Life to save, goals to kill. Better get to it.
Welcome ye Tauriath. Smell that fresh landlubber air. Ain't nothing like the air in Theopolis, full of debauchery and pollution, hidden neath the garb of them holy Templars. Seems the place has changed a fair bit since last I were here. A lot more blood and entrails than what I remember. Well, best Lily and I stay here, where it be safe. You journey on ahead, matey, and see what blimey buggers you get to kill next. Say, you're not in the market for a new cutlass or anything, are you? Recently unlocked the Black Crest's old armory. Found a whole shitload of weaponry down there from another time. If you fancy it, be glad to show you my stock. See if there's anything in there you'd like to pick up. Ah, see you, chum.
The prodigal returns. Have you brought with you a weapon to free us? The ravenous one has only grown more hungry since you left us, and I fear your efforts may be too little, too late. Kitava has all but destroyed us here, and our poor departed Utula's cultists have taken hold of the city. There's little ground left to tread that won't cause the grasping claws of Hinekora to reach out and wring our pretty little necks. I see your eyes, Exile. You wonder why I am here instead of at the Overseer's Tower. I'll tell you the horrible truth. The tower has fallen to the infernal devices of Kitava. That witch, Violenta, is to blame. She lowered a secret ladder and led Kitava's cultists right to our very beds. Bannon and I barely escaped with our lives. Together, we cut through the hordes, but it was no use. They had us surrounded. Bannon created a distraction which allowed me to flee. When I last saw him, he was perched atop the rooftops, holding off our enemies, though how long he will last, I cannot say. If you are going that way, perhaps you can find him and return him to me. I have grown fond of that Templar. The fire of Namahu burns within his belly. It would not fare well for us in this war if that fire were lost. For freedom.
It is good to see that you survived, my friend. But then, you have fared far worse. The froth of a violent ocean should be no problem for you. While we have been absent, Oriath has become a necropolis, a swarm of Kitava's wretched servants. The situation looks more dire than I had first anticipated. Before we make our move, we must know what we are dealing with. I send you, Exile, as a scout. As the only scout that would stand a chance moving through the shifting forms of this nightmare. You must discover where Kitava resides. Only then can we issue our final blow.
Well, out of the beast system and into the fire.
You there! Exile! I am in need of your services once more. Help me!
He went and rolled up in the wrong hood. Now we gotta get our Nate dog on and bail him out. Really late.
I would thank God for you, my friend, if that weren't too on the nose. I felt for sure that this time it was my turn to depart our world. Kitava's cultists surrounded Lani and I a while back. We split up and I led a distraction so she could make best her escape. Funny, I really should have considered my own plan for evasion once I'd allowed her hers. In any case, it is good to see you again, Exile. Let us talk more in a safer space. I shall meet you back at the docks. Good to see you made it back. You look at me with suspicious eyes. Yes, I know you have your apprehensions about me, and my new indwelling spirit. But if it helps a little, I feel innocence stirring inside me, awakening with an odd sense of gratitude towards you. It was, after all, your bite that returned him to humility, allowed the scales to drop from his eyes. If you are to go wandering the city in its current state, be careful where you step. Kitava's cultists are constantly on the prowl, actively seeking food for their god. What's worse, the passage to Kitava's feast is blocked off by two large black gates. We call them Kitava's horns, and they are utterly impenetrable to the motions of man. There is but one way in which we can reach Kitava and deprive him of his eternal meal. The staff of Avarius lies somewhere amongst the rubble of the Chamber of Innocence, still billowing with holy power. If you were to find it and return it to me, I believe the power in the staff will act as power enough to break through the horned gates. Good luck out there.
Bannon is alive and well. In no small way thanks to you, I would be willing to guess. Without him being here, I would have lost my sanity or my life a long time ago. Take this gift as a token of both our appreciation. Now that you have returned, and we have managed to sturdy ourselves once more abreast this mighty ship, I ask of you one more favor. Find that traitor Violenta and kill her. Though I wish to see her dead as revenge for her insurrection, Violenta has become something far worse under the radiation of Kitava's gaze. She must be stopped. Remember, we do this for freedom.
Then it is as I feared. Kitava's strength has grown insurmountable in our absence, and his horns now deny us entry to his feeding trough. Evidently, the hungry god has grown picky about what crumbs now travel towards his burgeoning throat. It is this strength that concerns me. I have spoken with our friend Bannon over there, a willful vessel of my misguided brother. I knew eventually we would need to enlist my brother's services, though I had hoped we need not do so this soon. Yet, it seems that we have no other choice. We must invoke my dormant brother, slumbering within Bannon's frame. Kitava's horns are a thing of great corruption, which only Innocence's purity can dispel. Before we proceed, I feel I must confide something in you. Bannon wishes me not to speak of it, as he is willing for the sacrifice. However, I feel you should know. Once we invoke Innocence, once we dredge him up from his cocoon inside the soul of Bannon, the man shall cease to be. Only the god shall remain. Do you understand what I say, Exile? If we take this path, Bannon will die, excruciatingly so, burnt with purity from the inside out. As I said, Bannon is willing to commit his life to this cause. But perhaps you should say your farewells before we move past the point of no return. Remember, humanity needs us.
Now that the Brine King is nothing but crab meat, his sunken domain, the ancient city of Soartha, is ripe for the plundering. My granddaddy once dedicated a good portion of his sailing life trying to hunt down the location of that monolithic city. Then, while he were otherwise indisposed, yours truly tried to follow in his gnarled footsteps, track down the teardrop, a pearl as big as your head, carved with the clues to the city's subaquatic location. I was this close to completing my grandfather's legacy when those damn Templar privateers raided me ship and took off with the teardrop, threw it in their reliquary here in Theopolis. As it were, now's the perfect time to retrieve that dazzling pearl. Think you can nab it for me? I'll make it worth your while. Maybe tick it off the list of things you owe me.
Was a time when the ladies would be begging for a bit of old Whalem, but I ain't felt the warm caress of a woman in a long time, and it wounded me dreadful. During me time on the sea, I heard tale of Queen Edzeri and her penchant for using this land as a kind of vault for all her special shinies. One such shiny be her famed love potion, supposed to attract the drinker's ideal mate to their loins, even if that mate be far across the sea. Old Queen Edzeri kept the liquid in the skull of her favourite lover. Them damn Templars probably got their hands on it by now, and the potion's bizarre container has me thinking they probably went and tossed it into the ossuary along with the rest of the bones they got lying around. Exile, be you the friend I believe you to be, then find a potion for me so that I can experience true love once more. Always keep your eyes on the horizon.
Well, that was a thing. And that'll do it for this episode of Path of Exile, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like and comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. It really helps me out. We've reached the final act of story mode. Is it going to get any weirder than whatever the heck we just went through? I guess we'll have to find out. This has been B.O.X Productions, and I'll see you next time.
Greetings. You needn't fret. The Dark Ember is still safely in my possession, and will remain so until our final confrontation with Kitava. That carnivorous blasphemy will fall like a log cut from the darkest of forests, and we shall watch him burn as Oriath and the rest of this world breathes a sigh of relief. Lily Roth is a noble... how do you say it? Scallywag? I have witnessed the rise and fall of many great men and women over the eons, and Lily is well on her way to being amongst the very best of them. I suspect one day her name shall be sung in salty taverns the world around. I must remember to keep on her good side, now that she can see me. The beautiful pirate princess hunting down the great god Sin would make for a fantastic tale, I'm sure, but one I would rather have remain in the pages of fiction.
I believe Vailenta was not of sound mind. At night, we often heard her cry out in sleep, fearing unseen things. I wanted to toss her out on the streets, let the beasts of this fallen city tend to her madness. But Bannon refused to leave behind one of his own. Would that he had listened to me. Vailenta thought that if she gave us up to Kitava, the Ravenous One would look kindly upon her. Well, look upon her he did. But what he saw and what she became is the thing of nightmares. Her nightmares, perhaps. In another life, perhaps Lily and I would have sailed the oceans together. I enjoy her presence and the conversation she brings. She has a call for adventure, coupled with a kind of optimism I rarely see. I hope that once all of this settles down, we might remain friends. I don't quite enjoy Whalem as much as I do his granddaughter, but Lily favors him, and so I will too, unless he does something truly horrid that forces me to revoke my opinion. A dark angel on your shoulder, perhaps? In another time, the presence of this god would trouble me, perhaps even frighten me. But in these days, I cannot afford the sensation of surprise. If he's helped you this far, as you say, then one might expect he will help you all the way to the bitter end, and that is good enough for me. Kitava's appetite has grown bigger than even his devotees had expected. His hunger moves faster now than his followers can keep up. I suppose the canals were the perfect answer to their problem, really. They converted them into one giant feeding trough to bring food to his mouth at a speedier rate. Before their god rose from the depths, Utula and his cultists had direction. They wished to see Kitava free to stage his horrifying banquet. I was foolish enough to believe these theological mumblings as symbols for Karui freedom. Now that their prophecies have come to fruition, the cultists have lost their minds. It's hard enough to believe the end times of your chosen religion will ever happen, let alone to last longer than the final pages of your holy book. Remember, we do this for freedom.
That Bannon's a real siren if you ask me. Even after the beating is taken. Bulging muscles, pretty yellow hair. I'd be willing to bet the barrel of his piece is longer than a ship's mast as well, if you be understanding me drift. It's a shame in all honesty that he's one of them foolish holy men. Though even that ain't so bad. Lily Roth loves herself a challenge. Not much I can say about that raving monster. While he still breathes, it fares ill for all of us. There ain't no amount of ocean we can put between us and him that Kitava won't see as simply an extra jug of wine in his cup.
Bugger me to the depths, if it ain't me favourite landlubber. Now, there's a woman who can hold her own. Oh, hey, look at her! A marvellous specimen of the female persuasion. Aye, reminds me of Meredith, me long-lost sweetheart. Oh, would it be that I could have a woman like that at my side once more? Someone to stare out over the bow into the salt spray of the sea with. Someone to warm the cockles of me heart. And a few other things in my bed at night. Oh, yeah. Now that'd be the dream. Lousy, good-for-nothing blackguard. In all me years at sea, never have I ever serviced a filthy blackguard on my lovely ship. If the Brown King still drew breath, I tell you, having this Bannon aboard would be an affront to the Lord of Salt and Scale. Him and his kind have hung, thrown and courted too many of ours. I don't rightly trust him. Not at all. Methinks Lily is fixing to have her way with that damn blackguard. Well, I tell you, not if I have anything to say about it. Look at me. Never thought I'd see the day when old Whalem were to be the prudish grandfather. Yet here we are. Damn conscience will be the death of me. Fair winds and calm seas.